In this video, we're going to look at the contour generator tool. Now, this tool can be downloaded off ScriptSpot. It isn't included in the standard 3ds Max app. Now, once you've downloaded it, you can find it in your file browser and simply drag it to your 3ds Max viewport. As you can see, it's placed here. To begin with, we're going to enter the top viewport, so have that selected and viewport toggle. Once you're in top view, I'm going to draw a plane under the Create Geometry tab. Is this one here. Just going to draw that here. I'm going to change the length to 50 meters and the width to 50 meters. Then I'm also going to change the length segs to 17 and the width to 17 as well. And you can change that as you please, even the length and width. Once I've done this, I'm going to go back to the 4 viewports just so I can see the perspective. I'm going to rotate the plane, and if you can see down the bottom, the X, Y, and Z axis, to get a 90 degrees rotation under the Y, I'm just going to type 90, and now you can see it's rotated. I'm going to select the Move tool. Also going to change the X 0, the Y to 0. Just going to drag it up as well, so it's all above the origin. Once you've done this, you can enter the perspective viewport. We're going to make sure that edge faces is selected so you can still see the segs running through the plane. Once we've done this, go to the Modifier tab, make sure the plane is selected, and under Modifier List, I'm going to type Edit Poly. Once we've done this, scroll down under Edit Poly to Selection and click Vertex. You see all these dots come at the corners of the segs that we've drawn. I'm going to scroll down again to Soft Selection. I'm going to tick this on as well. If you click anywhere along the plane, you can see that it changes the colors around the point selected, and we can change the fall off, which is the amount of vertices we've selected. I'm going to keep that at 15. I'm just going to drag this part out, select another part of the plane, and change the fall off again. Just click it and drag it down. I'm going to pull that back. You can just play around and create holes in your plane. Give it depth. You can also change the pinch and the bubble, and it gives you a preview of what that would look like. So if we pull pinch up and bubble up as well, you can see that it will show you what that will look like. So I'm just going to drag that out. Once you're happy with your plane and the texture you've added, you can unselect the vertices. You have this here. Reselect your plane, and under the contour generator, click Pick, and you select your plane. Once your plane has been selected, go down to the spline rendability in the contour generator, tick Rendable Rectangular. Once you've done this, there are slice axes, options X, Y, and Z. I'm going to begin on the Y. And we can change the amount of contours the generator will generate. Change this to 13. And further down, you can change the length and the width of each contour. So I'm going to leave the length at 1. I'm going to change the width to 3. After this, you can click Generate Contours. As you can see, it's generated 11 contours across the plane in the Y direction. You can select those and drag those up. It's an example of what the Y contours will generate. Select that again, and this time pick the Z axis, and you can generate contours again, and this will do it in the Z direction. Pull that up. And if they're too thin or too thick, you can again change the length and the width. So if I'm going to make them a little bit thicker, say 5, maybe the length, change that to 0.3. Generate. It will give you thinner contours as the previous one. Now the final axis is the x-axis. You click this and generate contours. It'll generate up on the mounds, and that might have been too thick, so I'm going to delete that contour. And I'm going to change the width to 2, change this back to 1. And this will generate contours based on the soft selection that you have done on your plane. Now, that's all on a 2D plane. We can also use this generate contour tool on a 3D objects. So we're going to draw a box under the geometry tab. And again, we're just going to make sure edge faces are on to make sure we can see the seams. So I'm going to change the length to 70, width to 20, about 30, and leave the height at 30 as well. The segs again, you can change as you like, depending on how many points you'd like to push and pull your object. So similar to as we did before, you're going to go to modifier and edit poly. And again, select the vertex option, scroll down to use soft selection. And exactly as we did last time, it's going to select part of the object and push and pull. The amount that you push and pull your object will then indicate how many contours or what the contour will look like in your generator. You can use mark down again. Again, once you're happy with your object, just go back up, deselect vertices. You have your edited box now. Now, plane is still selected in our contour generator, so we can just remove that. Instead, we're going to pick our new shape. And again, similar to what we did with our plane. Just going to go to Y. This time I'm going to change this to 20. I'm going to leave the length and the width to 2, 1 and 2, sorry. Generate contours. And you can see we generate those indicative of what your shape is. Going to look at the Z now. I'm going to change the width to 3 and make the length 2.2. You can also change how many contours with the total tab. And finally, again, just the Z, sorry, the X. Leave it as is, generate contours. And that's our final contour. And this contour is good for primarily creating 2D outlines or profiles of 3D geometry, which is particularly useful in modeling and visualization tools. The final shape I'm going to use is a sphere. So I'm going to draw that in here. And under the Modify tab and under Modify Release, I'm going to type noise. And this is similar to what the soft selection has done to our previous objects. And under strength, you can change what you'd want that to look like. If you drag the seed, you can see it'll change as well. And this is all based on the strength of your X, Y, and Z axis. Bring this one down a little bit. So once we have your shape and you're happy with how it looks, again, remove our box and instead pick the sphere. And I'm going to change this to very width to 1 and generate contours. I'm going to leave them there. And then going to click Z, generate contours. And if I just hide that sphere, you can see how we've got created the same shape all based on contours. I'm going to hide both of those contours and show the sphere again. And this time I'm going to make the length thinner. So under Z, I'm going to generate those contours again so we can have some space in between each contour. And under Y, I'm going to reduce that 2.5, 0.5, and generate it again. And if you hide the sphere, you can see now we've created a mesh based on our original sphere shape.